The Pentateuch. The Pentateuch is the first 5 books of the Bible called Torah. In the Hebrew scriptures, though we often call these books the law, Torah does not mean law, but teaching. Basic to the Torah is the idea of the covenant. A covenant is an agreement. In the Bible, covenants are special because God is one of the parties to the covenant. Biblical covenants have 3 parts. First, a statement about God's saving act, means what God brings to the agreement. Second, a statement about what God expects from humanity in response. And third, a sign or symbol as a reminder of the covenant. The Torah is, in part, a record of God's covenant and the implications of the covenant for human life in society. The Book of Genesis. Genesis begins with the creation, setting the covenant in the context of God's rule over the entire universe. The first covenant is with Adam and Eve, representative of all humanity, and includes the understanding that human beings will be responsible stewards of all creation. The second covenant is with Noah, the promise that the world will never again be destroyed by flood. Then the biblical account focuses on one particular person, Abraham, who enters into covenant with God and is given the promise that he and his descendants will become a blessing to all humanity. Through the narratives dealing with Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob and Leah and Rachel, and Joseph, and questions of faithfulness to the covenant and hope for the fulfillment of God's promises take concrete form. The Book of Exodus. Exodus centers on the escape of God's people from Egypt under the leadership of Moses and making of the great covenant at Mount Sinai. The part of the covenant are clear. God's gracious saving act is seen in Passover and Exodus. The expectation of human response is summarized in the 10 Commandments, and the feast of the Passover is the great sign and reminder. Moses, Aaron, and Miriam are both the leaders of God's people and the models of struggle and faith. The Book of Leviticus. Leviticus takes its name from the Latin word for Book of the Levites. The major concern of the book is the holiness of the community of Israel. Holiness means to be set apart by God for a special purpose. Holiness is expressed in proper form of worship and living out the love of God in the routine of daily life. The Holiness Code from chapter 17 to 27 is a good example of how worship and justice mingle together in the life of Israel. The Book of Numbers. Numbers is named for the census that begins the book. The narrative part of the book is the wilderness journey from Kadesh Barnea to the Promised Land. Included are the great account of the spies entering Canaan, the 40 years of wandering, and the miracles of Moses. Finally, come the conquest of the kingdoms of Shihon and Og in the Transjordan, and the story of Balaam. The book ends with Israel prepared to enter the promised land under the leadership of Joshua. The book of Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy is written as Moses' farewell speech before the tribes entered the land. It reviews God's act of salvation and the applications of salvation for life. The book itself was apparently found in the temple in the reign of King Josias in 621 BC. The discovery sparked a great religious reform. One of the real concerns of Deuteronomy is how to make old traditions relevant for a new time. The most important statement of belief is the Shema, which is found in Deuteronomy chapter 6, 4 to 5. Thank you.